Okay, so another update. This is the third video I'm making. I put the tank on, put some fuel in it. I didn't put any 91 in it, which is the minimum required for an engine, or this engine. I put just some lawnmower, 87 or 89. I think it's 87. Um, so I put the tank on. I mocked things up. I didn't put the intake or anything like that. Um, and I noticed that it cranks. I think he said that, again. This is all what the seller said to me. When I say he said, so I'm taking everything he said with a grain of salt. He said that the fuel pump had gone out originally. I don't know how he came to that conclusion. He said he put an R6 fuel pump in it, but that it was not giving enough pressure. When I heard that, I was like, well, how do you know? I mean, that to me just says I did something and it didn't work, so blah, blah, blah. It doesn't start. It just cranks. When I went to see it, when I went to pick it up, the guy was saying it runs on starter fluid. Do you want to hear it run? And I'm not a believer in starter fluid in the way of trying to get something to, in this example, run in order to sell it to me, to prove something. Starter fluid can be very damaging. I mean, it can do cause serious issues with your engine. So I said no, it's all right. So I did not hear it run. I've heard it crank while it's been only in my hands. Cranks good. It was leaking some oil. I saw that it was leaking out of this guy from underneath, just ever so slightly, just a very small drool, a drip that formed once every couple 2 to 5 minutes. And I noticed that the little water pump drain, once I took the pan off, the little water pump drain, which is that guy right there, had no O-ring on the bottom. Took it out, put a new O-ring on the top. There was some crap, you see that mucus type stuff in here. I'm hoping that was from me removing and replacing the O-rings on the crossover pipe for the coolant. That's what I'm hoping that is. I took off the relief valve. The O-ring was just old, and it was slowly falling. Everything else seems to be in working condition, the way it's supposed to be anyway. You can see there's a little mixture of oil with some coolant. So, let's see, any more information. I took off when it did not want to start and it just cranked. I removed the power commander. I removed that from the harness just to verify that it was not that guy. I secured the pressure sensor. I secured the ECU, which when I first started taking everything apart, I saw the Mitsubishi emblem. I thought that was kind of funny. I never would have put Mitsubishi with this bike, but I'm one of the few people that still likes Mitsubishi. So I don't like any new stuff they're doing, but Mitsubishi itself, I think, has some good history. Cleaned completely. Sprayed this down with the brake cleaner. I took this guy out, replaced the O-ring on it. But this was the guy right here that was just ever so slightly just oh no, sorry. This one. You can still see a little bit of the oil that remained right there. So it's just ever so slightly it's just leaking. So the next thing I'm gonna do, since I'm trying to get this to run, I'm gonna try and post this video as soon as I can, because I need some help on figuring out what some of these things are. I can't get any diagrams, routing diagrams. I'm not too worried about the schematics as far as right now. The diagram for this guy is important to me because I don't know necessarily what it does. It looks like it's operated by the engine vacuum. I know these guys are supposedly operated by engine vacuum, but I have this guy right here, the crank vent, which what I'm going to do, since I don't have any, I already tried to look it online and try to get some information, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this guy to here. I'm going to put a T probably around here that goes to both, because that's the only thing that I can think of. It's the same diameter as these. I'm going to take that pump out because I heard some gurgling when it turned on. It does turn on. I heard some gurgling, and that to me means possibly the issue right there is that it has a leak between the pump and this little tube right there, which is the supply. So I'm thinking that it has a leak internally, and with that said, it should start. I'm not going to start it without any oil. I don't like doing any of that stuff, especially on an engine that sits. Then there's no oil in the bearings, nothing. So no bueno. I don't want to destroy this before it's even able to run. But I got a whole mess of just stuff. I'm gonna wrap these headers. I'm gonna wrap the pipe. I'm not going to wrap it coming. Well, you know what? Maybe I will. But I'm not gonna wrap. I am gonna wrap it coming up to the muffler. One thing that I did notice though, the muffler itself was rubbing right here. And this is going to be one of my biggest pet peeves. People that do not know how to install these P-style clamps for your aftermarket muffler. They do not go on the outside. Inside, outside of the bracket. They go on one side. I mean, my God, it is not that hard. Because once you put this on, you can tell your muffler rattles inside the clamp. I mean, that is such an idiot move, in my opinion. I mean, come on. Okay, anyway. Like I said, outside, or inside, I guess, for certain ones, but for this one, outside. I'm gonna have to readjust this guy. I'm probably gonna end up taking this cover off just so I can see in there. I'm probably gonna take that one off as well. I'm gonna take off the stator cover on the other side, make sure that everything is sealed on that side, and I want to see what the inside of this case looks like, because this does not. I mean, this is not okay with me. This is just crazy, but I want to make sure that this is going to be okay to start. I already ordered new sprockets with the new matching chain. What else? I ordered new tires, the 190 for the rear, the 120 for the front. I ordered a new pump, which if it ends up not being an internal leak, then I will need it anyway to check that off. When I turn the ignition on with the cluster on and all that, it gives me code 17 and 22. And as far as I can see, 22 is for the EUXP or EXUP, I can't fucking remember, but this had like some sort of exhaust flap. So that's 17, or let me see, yeah, 17 I believe is for this guy, which really don't care. And 22 was for, where is it? There you are. Inlet temp sensor. And that's the only thing. Everything mocked up without the intake. Everything was put in, connected, and such and such and such. I put oil, turned the key on, let it prime, and code 17 and code 22 were the only ones that were being displayed. So, and like I said, once I had oil this morning, I came out and I had a few drips going on underneath those rags, and I was like, oh, okay, crap. So, but that's the update for now. If somebody can give me an idea on how this harness goes, or if this is even the right harness. I mean, I have the, when I took the throttle bodies out, I inspected the whole harness, and on here there's a tag, and it says, let's see, I think I'm just gonna take it off. Hold on. Yes. So this is the tag on the harness, and this is an 02, built in March, well, January, February, March, yep, March of 02. And this is the tag on the harness. Hopefully that is correct. Hopefully this is the right engine, because I'm running into this little ordeal back here. The output shaft speed sensor has this little bitty, like 2-inch or so pigtail coming out of it, and it just dingles to about right here. And on the harness, as you can tell, I have it just, I just have it dingling in here so that it can reach the oil pressure, or I believe that's oil pressure, but besides the point, so that the speed sensor connector can reach down there. And this loop, as the harness comes through, it tees off right there, and I thought that it came around this way following the frame to connect to my on and off and start switch, and it did not, because I just had the connector about right here, the little one that's connected. Let's see if I can point out that white one right there. That one was dingling right here, and there's absolutely no way it's going to reach down there. There's an extension on for this one, the one wire next to it, so that's good. I'm thinking I'm missing an extension then. Besides the point, if this is the right harness, that's great, awesome. I don't have any leftover connectors. Everything matches up. So if somebody can give me an idea to verify that this is the correct harness, and that would be great, because the way that it's routed right now, to give that one enough length, this is how I have my on and off start switch routed, and obviously that's not going to work. So if I'm gonna an answer, I'm going to extend either the harness connector, or I'm going to remove the sensor and extend the wiring about a foot or 2 feet, so that I can have extra, so that this guy gets routed inside and follows the throttle cables. But I mean, as far as that, the throttle bodies are tight, they're in place. Again, don't know what the hell this is meant to do. I'm thinking it's a vacuum operated, but I don't think that it's just open like that. So right now it cranks, does not start, and I hear gurgling, not all the time, but I do hear it in there. So crank, no start, gurgling, oil leak, and blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to take that pump out, make sure that I don't have an in-tank leak. And if it starts, well, then I'm going to take a video of it. I'm going to take a video before it starts to see how it starts, and so I can record it. All right, peace.